What's up guys, welcome back. So Link summoning, the new summoning mechanic, will be upon us really soon, well, within the next few months, well, especially for the OCG players, and we will get a lot of information about their metagame playstyle. For us TCG players, by the time we get this new summoning mechanic and all the new card releases. So the update of the master rule, as you see here in the background, again, it's going to have a huge impact on the game, and I definitely want to continue this series of like a breakdown-ish video about the Link format, about decks, etc. And today's topic is like which, with the current information and current card releases, which decks could be good during that format. And before I start, there are like three things that we have to keep in mind with making these predictions. And the first one is of course the ban list. I'm not expecting any ban list soon. It seems most logical that by the time we get this new summoning mechanic, that by that moment or at that moment we are going to get like a huge ban list, since again, Link summoning possibilities like a huge change for a lot of decks. So possibly older decks could get possibly banned or restricted cards back at their disposal. So again, the possibility of them releasing this new mechanic together with like a huge ban list update, it's definitely something I see possible. So yeah, it seems that with this current format, this is probably going to be our Nationals format, but you never know, right? That's the first thing, the possible ban list. The second thing is with the new rulings about tokens, and it's not really confirmed yet if we are allowed to use tokens to go for a Link summon. Probably not, since these Link monsters do state that the monsters used for a Link summon, they have to go to the graveyard, and tokens cannot send or be sent, or cannot go to the graveyard, they are just removed from the field. But again, cards like YgoPro or Phantom Skyblaster, for example, could be very good or could be crucial or very powerful, especially in case of YgoPro, if tokens are able to be used for like a Link summon. But again, possibly not, but that's again something important we have to take in account when making these predictions about possible good slash great top decks in that upcoming future format. And then the third and probably most important thing is of course new card releases, since you know how it goes with every new mechanic like Synchro Summon, Pendulum Summon, Exceed Summon. It starts off like really slowish, basic combos, basic fields, but as soon as we dive further into the format, Konami releases like top tier shenanigans, like how it went with Teledat, Triple Teleport, Spam Your Field Full, Performances and Pals, and Clifford before that. So it's probably just going to be a matter of time within the next few months when the Link summoning mechanic is released, that again we could end up with like big ass boss monsters on the field, unbreakable boards, etc. But that's something we for now we don't know. And something that's linked to this is that possibly current decks that we think that could possibly be like terrible could be good if Konami decides to release support for those cards or for those decks. Like for the moment we know that pretty much every heavy extra deck based deck, for example like DDDs, they are getting nuked by this new Link summoning rule. This could be solved with some very important releases from new monsters, Link monsters, that can easily let you go for like a one card double Link summon. That's probably going to happen. So new card releases is definitely something we also have to take into account, but it's something we cannot predict in how Konami is going to release new cards and how the impact of these new cards, what impact that they are going to have on the current decks, and of course the upcoming card releases. So three things that have to be taken into account. So let's dive into the possible decks for this Link summoning format, and I believe the first example is pretty much clear. Zodiacs with some videos we already saw popping up on YouTube and Facebook as well of, yeah, you know, the one card. Well, thanks to Zodiac Barrage, for example, you can still make your board of Trident and Emerald very easily, quite easily, but again, Link Summoning does hinder the extra deck based decks somewhat, but Zodiacs seem to be, yeah, they can recover from this. So Zodiacs is of course pick number 1 going into this new Link Summoning format. And then there's like a huge second group basically focused on boss monsters. You know, agents for example with Venus pumping out those level 2 shine balls again, possibly monsters to be used to special summon Link monsters from the extra deck, and of course, yeah, Christia and Hyperion are of course very strong boss monsters. Same with dinosaurs with the new structure deck, Tyranno's Rage I believe it's called, again heavily based on a boss monster. Okay, they are hindered by the fact that they cannot spam Lagia/Dolga, their extra deck based monsters, but still they have one zone, extra monster zone for a possible extra deck monsters, and yeah, pair it up with a few strong boss monsters like that ultimate conductor Tyranno, I believe the name is. Definitely a contender in a much slower Link format. Other examples, Infernoids. Again, Infernoids not really hindered by not being able to use their extra deck, right? And on top of that, you know, Link monsters don't have levels, if I'm not mistaken, so that's something to keep in mind, that Infernoids can have extra monsters on the field that can bypass their maximum level restriction. Lightsworns next to this is also pretty much a deck that gets more support in the future with the new Twilight cards, as you already saw a couple of days ago on the channel here. But Lightsworns, you know, Judgment Dragon has a powerful beat stick, and it's yeah, his effect is just bonkers as well. And again, a very strong that isn't really based on its extra deck bar, of course, Minerva, and that's something, again, the mass release of Minerva is definitely needed then. Other decks, for example, Necros, which will be much more important for the current OCG players, since you know Shuret, for example, is still legal over there, and Jin, releaser of Rituals, is also legal if I'm not mistaken, but for us TCG players, and that's where a possible ban list could come in of releasing Shuret again at 1. Definitely something that's possible, but yeah. We'll see if Konami is going to drop a ban list next to the introduction of the Link Summoning mechanic. It's possible to give, yeah, older decks a chance, but why should they, right? Why not quote-unquote force us to invest and buy the new product? That's something that's possibly more likely than bringing back older decks. Next deck that's very interesting, that's True Kings. True Dracos, currently one of the better decks in the OCG, next to Zodiac Beasts. And next to this we also have Monarchs. Again, Monarchs not really hindered by not being able to use, not using their extra deck, but it seems that the engine, the overall engine of True Kings/True Dracos is much more powerful, you know, searching these continuous spells and traps compared to one Pantheism, one Stormfort for us TCG players. So it seems that a tribute summoning base deck, it's much better for True Kings/True Dracos, but that's something the ban list can somewhat solve again, giving back Pantheism, Stormfort, but that's probably not going to happen. Other contenders, Cosmos, of course, again for the OCG much more important since they do have access to triple Dark Destroyer, but I believe Emergency Teleport is also at 1 over there, and the Dark Destroyer is of course at 1 here as well in the TCG, but that's, again, I keep saying it, that the ban list could somewhat quote-unquote solve by giving back, Dark Destroyer, definitely a possibility. And last, I'm definitely forgetting decks, or feel free to add in decks to this list, is Mermills as well, you know, Atlantean Prince, a very strong monster again, heavily OTK based, and Mermills is not really heavily focused on its extra deck. Well, you know, Northern is a nice extra that can get you more shenanigans, but you know what I mean, you still have one extra deck monster zone, and you're not heavily based on using these Link monsters, or making your deck somewhat less consistent by adding in possibilities to open up your Link summoning mechanic during your first turn. So for this video, the lists, or at least my picks, end here. So again, I definitely missed a few decks / archetypes, so feel free to or leave them down below, since it's definitely interesting by the time that YgoPro or something gets updated, that we finally can dive into this new link summoning format and finally get some testing going. Okay, guys, that's it. Thanks for watching and feel free to leave a comment or a like if you enjoyed the video. Lithium signing out. Peace.